How has making the comics themselves been changed by the popularity of the movies? I mean, you couldn't have imagined all the different media that would erupt when you started making these.
No, as I've often told people, when I was writing these stories, the one thought in my mind was I hope the books would sell so that I'd keep my job and be able to pay the rent. I never thought there'd be a day when I'd be interviewed by the press and there would be exhibits of the characters. I mean, it never entered my mind.
Right. So now, have you seen the way the way comics are created, or the thought that goes in and the way the characters are created, has that changed at all in your mind because of how many different ways there are of expressing these characters now, the toys, the movies?
I think it's changed only in one sense. It's more difficult because new writers or old writers coming in and trying to do new superheroes, it's very difficult for them because almost everything has been done. I mean, we have men who wear armor and who can fly and shoot bolts. We have a guy who can burst into flame and fly around. We have the Hulk. We have all these different characters. We have Spider-Man who can do what he does. So if you're a new writer and you say, I want to come up with my own superhero, what's left? Of course, I would know, but I'm not going to tell.
It's pretty hard not to be derivative after so many.
Yeah.
And I think I heard you say, looking at it, you created so many characters, and yet to see them all in one panorama, does that bring it home to you more than just your memory of the years that you spent doing this?
Well, I have a pretty good memory. I remember all of this stuff, but when I see it all together like this, it is impressive. The only thing is, and I wouldn't want this to get around, I think there are some duplicates. There's more than one doll of Iron Man and Spider-Man and so forth.
Are there any that especially came out well? I mean, obviously not everything that's drawn in 2 dimensions comes out as you would think in 3 dimensions, but are there some of their particular favorites just because of the way they finished up?
Certainly Spider-Man and Iron Man and Thor and the Avengers. I loved them. I thought the Fantastic Four was good. I thought, what else was there? The Hulk, I think he appears better in the Avengers than he had previously, but he's a great character. Daredevil, they're going to do another Daredevil. No, I like them all. I must tell you, I'm very prejudiced.
Well, we're here for Iron Man, and I heard you obviously say Robert Downey Jr. seems, at least at this point in his career, born to play Tony Stark. Is there anyone else who even comes close to inhabiting, an actor who inhabits one of these characters like this in the series?
Oh, there are other actors. I thought that, I forgot his name, the fellow who did Tobey Maguire. I thought he was great as Spider-Man. And then along comes, what's the new fellow's name? I forget.
Andrew Garfield.
What?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. I should know. I've met him and I like him. Andrew Garfield comes along and he's just as good. So I don't know whether these characters are easy to portray or whether Marvel is just lucky in getting the cream of the crop. But everybody who's played our characters has been wonderful. Even X-Men, when you take the one who played Magneto and Professor X, 2 polished actors, real actors, not just action actors. It's been very lucky for us.
What is it about Iron Man as a character? I mean, obviously there's some kind of fascination and wish fulfillment in any popular character because that's why people want to see them. What is it particularly about Iron Man, someone whose personality can be so, frankly, off-putting at first?
Well, the thing about Iron Man, I modeled him after Howard Hughes. Now, there were many great things about Howard Hughes, but he was also a little bit of a nut. And I think that while he doesn't seem to be a bit of a nut, I think Robert Downey Jr. does such a great job of portraying a millionaire who's got problems, a genius who isn't quite in sync with everything else, and he puts that little bit of humor into it. I think you may have mentioned before, he was born to play that role.
And finally, with a marathon like is about to go on upstairs, people coming in not just to watch one movie, but to see the whole sweep of the.
I envy them. I wish I could.
You ever imagine something like? I mean, where does this go next? You've got all these characters in book form, in toy form, in movie form. What's next for this universe?
Well, I don't think there's anything left. Every form of entertainment seems to contain the Marvel superheroes. But later on, if they develop new forms, where you could actually be the character, they'll do that too. I don't know, the characters for some reason, I think one of the things that's made them catch on the way they have is the movies have these great special effects. There's nothing they can't do. You couldn't have done Spider-Man 20 years ago. There was no way to have him swing on his webs that way. You couldn't have done Iron Man this way 20 years ago. But now anything you can imagine, no matter how wild it is, you can put on the screen. So even if these movies didn't have colorful, interesting characters, which I think they do have, people would still want to see them just for the visuals. The visuals are awesome, and I think that's a lot of the appeal.
And the last one, you said if there's some medium in the future where you can actually become the character, if you had to pick one, which one are you going to crawl inside? Are you going to be the web slinger? Are you going to get into Tony's suit?
I think I'd want to be Tony Stark because he's the best looking and the richest.
Well, you're almost all the way there anyway. Thank you, Stan.
Okay,
This
good
is
talking to you.
Real pleasure.
Right, thank you.